In today's training video, we are going to cover the two most common items for recording safety in the HCSS mobile app. To begin the process, locate the icon for the mobile app on your mobile device. Tap on the icon to open the program, and the program will open to what we call the home screen. At the top of the home screen, you will see the job listed that you currently have open, and also the calendar on the top left corner, typically opening to today's date. Many of you will see different icons on this screen depending on your subscription level for the mobile app, but most of you will see meetings and inspections. You can see on my screen I have them listed on the safety reporting line, but as you know, with the mobile app in today's version, we can move those icons around. A long tap and you can drag those icons up. So if you like, you can drag those up to the top row as part of your daily activities. I'll drag meetings up there. I'll also drag inspections up to the top row. And now they'll stay there the next time I open the app, and I consider the top row my to-do list for today. So let's start with the first item. We'll tap on meetings, and the first thing that you want to do here, if you haven't been in the app or have not been in the app for a while, you want to go ahead and hit the refresh button. So there are a couple of things on this refresh that you need to look at. New changes only would be only new meetings or inspections that have been added to the system since the last time you tapped refresh. Full refresh says this could take a while. It will refresh all safety meetings, all inspections, all safety items, and I've seen it take 2 to 3 minutes for a full refresh. So if you haven't been in the system for a while, or if you're just getting started, go ahead and tap full refresh and let the refresh process run until it completes. The other item on this list that everybody should do at least once to start is the item that says download all employees. We have the HCSS mobile system configured now so that we can add any employee from any business unit to our safety meetings, and the first step to be able to do that is to tap on download all employees. I'll go ahead and do that. It typically takes another minute to 2 minutes to download all employees. So once you've completed the refresh, you will return to this meeting screen, and we'll talk about our two main meeting types. I will tap on Add Meeting. On this screen, you can change the date, tap on the calendar, past, present, or future. So I'll keep it set on June 5th, and the next step would be select meeting type. Most locations will have 3 meeting types that show. Toolbox Safety Talks are our weekly tailgate meetings or our special meetings like the Special A meeting. We have the Take 5 meeting, and we have JSA, JHA meetings, and that's something that some locations are using, some locations are not using. We're going to focus on the first 2 options, the Toolbox Safety Talk and the Take 5. So we'll start with a weekly meeting, the Toolbox Safety Talk, and I will tap on that. And you can see that it sets that meeting type to Toolbox Safety Talk. Now I need to tap on subjects and choose the subjects that I'm going to have the meeting on. Some locations have specific subjects set up for their weekly tailgate meetings. In this example, I'll go to the Arizona Region Special A, tap on that, and the subject that's out there for this week is DOT compliance. I need to tap on that. And it's really hard to, from this point, see that anything changed. But if I tap anywhere on the meeting, you can see that it added that subject, DOT compliance. And there's a little paper clip on the far right side that shows there's an attachment for this meeting. Now, before I get into the paper clip, I want to set up the rest of the meeting. You need to be aware that the meeting time is going to be set by the time that you launch the application. So unless you're recording this live, you will typically need to change the meeting time. Tap on the time and change this to whatever time you had your safety meeting. So I started my safety meeting this morning at 7 a.m. I'll roll that around to 7 a.m. And then you also may want to look at the length. the default duration for this meeting is 5 minutes. I took longer than that. I took 20 minutes for my weekly toolbox safety talk. The next option is to get employees onto the meeting. So you can do this in several ways. You can tap on pull in crew, and you can either pull in the employees from a previous meeting. This is very convenient if you just had your take 5 and now you're doing your toolbox, or vice versa, and you've got all the employees for one meeting. You had 2 meetings back to back. Use the previous meeting for pulling in your crew. You can also pull in from your time card. So if you have a time card started for that day, you can pull in a time card. The third option is daily dispatch. If you have a location where they are using the dispatch and you're able to pull in your daily dispatch for your time card, you can also pull in the daily dispatch for this meeting. So I am not going to use any of these options. I want to show you how to add attendees manually, but trust me, the time card or previous meeting option here is much quicker for you to add your attendees to the safety meeting. So I'm going to tap on attendees, and we'll look at some of the options here. We have 2 options when you first tap on attendees. You see that we have either employees or visitors. Let's start with employees. The default option for selecting employees, across the top, it says source job. Now, you can, obviously, if you're on a particular job, you can use the source job for the employees that you would have at your safety meeting. They're typically already in the system for that job. So if we add an employee, you just tap on the employee, scroll the list, tap on the next employee, and go down through that list for source job. Now, if you have a large crew, a long list of employees, the better option here is to use the search tool. So if I search for Tom, I see 3 Toms in this job. I can select the correct Tom and add them to the meeting. So you can build your attendee list that way. Or if you're not seeing folks that you want, the other 2 options might help. If you tap on source job and change the source to the library, this list would now be any employee that's in your HeavyJob employee library for your location. We use the library as our master list, so it is possible that you will have employees in the library that have not yet been copied into your job. So you can use source library, and it works the same way. Scroll the list and add the employees, use the search tool, and now I can find myself and add myself to the meeting. So that's the second option, changing your source. The third option is the one that we did the download for at the very beginning, where we said download all employees. And so I can tap on source library and change that source to all. With your source set to all, the sort order is very random here, so you'll almost definitely want to use the search tool. But let's just say, for example, that Jim Roberts attended my safety meeting. I can type in Jim Roberts, type in the name, and I should see Jim Roberts. Now, I'll have to scroll the list because there are a lot of Roberts here, but if I get down towards the bottom of this list, there is James Roberts. So I can add our CEO to my safety meeting. This source all should work for any Granite employee. If they've been in a HeavyJob system at all, either in a safety job or in a library for any business unit, they should show up on this list. So once you get your list built, you can see that by default, everybody is checked as being on site and attended. Now, it is possible that you had employees on your crew who were on site but did not attend your safety meeting. Let's say, for example, that first employee came in a couple hours late. He wasn't there for my safety meeting, so I could say he was on site, but if I want to indicate that he did not attend that safety meeting, I want to uncheck the attended box because I don't want to indicate somebody was at my safety meeting that wasn't there. So now I have my attendees. The other option on attendees is to add visitors. If I go back and tap on attendees and tap on the visitor option, it just opens up a screen where I can actually type in the visitor name and a visitor note, and then tap add in the top right corner to add that visitor to my safety meeting. Now, one of the nice things about this list, now that I've created it, the list of attendees for this meeting, if I do hold another meeting today or even another one tomorrow where I have the same attendees, when I start the meeting, I'll tap on pull in crew and I will use the previous meeting and I'll have this list already built. The only thing I would need to do is pay attention to who was on site and who actually attended the meeting. So now that I have my attendees built, I can go back to the subject of the meeting. So if I tap on DOT compliance, it's going to open a PDF document that has either been created as part of the system or has been sent out from your location for the subject of this safety meeting. So this is DOT compliance. I can use this document to go through, read this to the crew, show them the pictures, whatever that is. And this is the backup to support what we talked about at our safety meeting. So I'll review this PDF document that's attached to each subject. Some of these are a single page, some are longer, but they are the bulk of what you want to talk about for your safety meeting. So once I've talked about that, because it's already attached to the safety meeting, that's all I need to do. I can add photos, so I can tap on the camera and either take a picture from the camera, pull one from my gallery if I took it earlier. And then there's an entire note section here where you can add notes for your safety meeting. If you're going to add notes, just like other places in the HCSS mobile app, I recommend using the microphone that comes up on your keypad and using the speech to text option. This is a sample note. It's pretty quick and easy. Some locations require signatures for the safety meeting. So if that's the case, you can tap on the signature button at the bottom right and it will bring up a list of all attendees. The concept here is that you would walk around to each attendee with your mobile device. You would tap on their name and they would sign and tap accept signature, and you would get a signature for each employee. This isn't a requirement at every location, so it's up to your individual location whether or not they require signatures for your safety meeting, but the capability is built into the mobile device. So this would complete my Toolbox Safety Talk meeting. I've got the date, I've got the time, I've got the duration in minutes, I've added the subject, I've reviewed the PDF attachment that went with that subject, got my crew on the time card, I've added attendees, either visitors or attendees from other business units using the all option. I can add photos, I've got notes in there, I've got signatures, I'm ready to send this. Now, I'm not going to send this in. I want to go back to the main meeting screen so that you can see that this meeting shows up for Monday, June 5th. It's got the job, it's got the meeting and the start time, and it indicates that it is not sent. At any time, I can open this meeting and revise it from here. But once I've sent the meeting, I can no longer make revisions. So make sure your meeting is complete before you hit that send option. Otherwise, they will show up on this list as sent, and you will only be able to look at them, not make any changes. Now we'll look at the other meeting type, the Take 5. This will go fairly quick because the concept is exactly the same as the Toolbox Safety Talks. It's really just a different form. So I'll tap on Add Meeting. I'll verify that I have the correct job and date. Select meeting type will be the Take 5. The subjects will be the Take 5 form. And you'll see that I have the Take 5 form with the paperclip attachment at the right, indicating that there's a form for me to fill in. I still want to change my meeting time to 7 a.m. and my duration to I'll make this a 10-minute meeting. I have all the same options for adding my crew, my attendees. I can either pull in from my time card, pull in from a previous meeting. So I have a Toolbox Talks. I can pull that in. I can add visitors. I can verify on-site and attended for this meeting. And then when I go to the actual Take 5 form, it's going to open up a fillable PDF form. I can stretch this out so I can see it, I can resize it, and then I can tap in any of the boxes to fill out this form. So the top section, previous day's performance, any incidents, near misses, and good catches, inspection items, anything resolved. You got continuous improvement, any comments on continuous improvement, what worked yesterday, what didn't work yesterday, and what else can we do today to work better, faster, easier. Then you type on the type of work to be performed, and you would type that in, and then you have a series of boxes on this form, just like the paper Take 5. Today's job task, I have 5 different tasks that I can list, the hazards or challenges for each task, the precautions or controls. So I would fill out all of that section, listing each task that we're going to do today, the hazards associated with that task, and then the precautions control. At the bottom is a series of check boxes. You've got some check boxes for PPE, so I can indicate that we had goggles, we had gloves, and which type of glove, and go through the rest of those check boxes. Got all of the check boxes for PPE. You've got a set of check boxes for permits that might be required. You've got some check boxes for quality control. You've got some check boxes for environmental. And you will go through and check all of the boxes that apply to this Take 5 form. When you've completed this form, you want to tap Save in the top right corner, and it will bring you back to the meeting screen. Your Take 5 will be saved with all of your entries, so we can open that Take 5 up either in HeavyJob or in the HCSS Safety Manager system. We can review the Take 5 form, what was discussed, the activities, the hazards, precautions, etc. You can take pictures for your Take 5. That's a great idea. The add photo works the same way. You can add notes for your Take 5. That works the same way. And you can also add signatures for this Take 5. Once again, I won't send this. I will go back to my main meeting screen just to show you that I have 2 meetings now for Monday, June 5th. I have a Take 5. I have a Toolbox Safety Talk. Either one of these at this point, I can still tap on that, return to that meeting, and make changes, or I can send all, top right corner of this screen, and send all meetings into the office. Return to the main menu now, and we will go through the inspections for safety. In order to fill out an inspection, I just need to tap on the inspection icon. It opens up to a inspection tracking screen. It's going to show you, as you start through here, inspections that you've completed, inspections that are in progress, and also any follow-up items, and we'll look at follow-up items shortly. So the first step would be to add an inspection, and this is one of the few places that really catches folks off guard the first time through the system. It opens with the option for recent forms selected. This is really nice once you've started doing inspections and you've got several of the inspection forms that you've started. But if you haven't done any inspections at all, or very few, this list of recent forms is going to be pretty small. So you'll want to tap on the All Forms option, and now you can see all of the forms that are available for your inspections. The forms that begin with the number 1 are Granite specific inspection forms. These have been created by and distributed by our corporate safety individuals, and these forms are going to be the same in all business units. So I can start with any of those. I have some EM385 inspection forms available. Various forms will be available for different locations depending on your location. So we'll just start with one of these forms because the forms are basically the same once you get into an individual inspection. I'm going to do a grading and paving inspection. And again, this will open up with the inspection form. It will open up with the date I had previously selected, but I can tap on the calendar and select a different date. I'll leave it set on the 5th. The inspector's name is listed there. This is the name associated with this mobile device. I can tap on that and select other inspectors. I have a section at the very top for notes regarding this inspection. So I can tap in there and enter my notes. And then I can go through the actual inspection items. And we'll just go through a few of these so you can understand the process. Every question on your inspection has 3 options. It's either good, requires no further action on your part. It doesn't apply. In other words, it's not a part of your current job site, or there's an issue. When you tap on the middle option, the issue, it brings up another part of the screen for you to complete the follow-up items for this issue. So this is where if you had an issue, and this particular item says spotters available to guide vehicles equipment when backing in a tight area. So let's say that I noticed an issue. We had a truck backing up without a spotter. So I decided to go ahead and indicate that on this inspection. So my note, if I tap in that note section, would be something to the effect of entered the job site and saw a truck backing up without a spotter. So at that point, I could take pictures of the issue. I can do that by tapping on the photos button, which would show any photos, and then I can tap on the camera to add a picture, once again, from the camera, from the gallery, or cancel. So I can add pictures to this. I can assign this item to an individual by sending it to them via email. So, for example, if this was an issue with equipment and you wanted to assign it to the shop, you could tap on enter email address, select email address for your shop foreman, and basically assign this issue to them by selecting an email address. I can also tap on follow-up for this item, and the system is designed to track every issue from the time it was discovered until it was resolved. So this is a fairly simple issue. The issue is spotters available to guide vehicles equipment when backing in tight areas. So if I had pulled up on the job site, noticed the issue, I would immediately get somebody over there to spot the trucks as they're backing up. So essentially at this point, I've resolved this issue. So I can enter notes to that effect and put in here that I assigned an individual to be a spotter or multiple individuals to be a spotter. I'll put that note in here, and then again I can add more photos. Maybe I want to take a picture of the issue after it was corrected to confirm that we now have a spotter backing up the trucks. But bottom line is I can also tap on the issue reported and change the status. The status would be issue reported, it's pending, it's corrected, or it wasn't really an issue after all. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to leave this as issue reported for now. We'll go back and we would finish up the inspection at this point. You would go through each of these items and you would check one of the 3 statuses for each inspection item. If you get to a section that the entire section doesn't apply, let's say that I'm on a job site that has absolutely no traffic control. I can tap on the NA, and it's going to ask me, would you like to set the entire traffic control section as NA? And I could say yes. It's going to just collapse that section, basically setting all of those questions to does not apply or NA. In the top right corner, you can see on my inspection that I am showing percent complete. So as I work through all of these questions, as I answer each of these questions, that percent complete is increasing until I finally get to 100%. And at that point, I would be able to send in this inspection. So I won't go through all of these, but we'll just assume that I've got this 100% complete. And I'm again going to go back to the inspection tracking screen so that you can see I have one inspection in progress. I can, at this point, I can open that inspection at any time just by tapping on it. It takes me right back to where I left off. I could finish up the inspection. But I also now have an item listed under follow-up items. It keeps a count over there in the tab on the right. So if I tap on follow-up items, it's showing the one inspection issue that I had indicated. And I can refresh follow-up items. If this is a item that is going to take correction from other folks, you may want to tap that refresh, because as somebody else corrects this item, they will change the status to corrected, and you want to refresh your system so that you see that same corrected status. If this is something that you need to follow up on, you can tap on edit follow-up, and it's back to this same screen where I could at this point put in my note about adding the spotters where the trucks are backing up, tap on issue reported, and say that it was corrected. Now if I go back to the inspection tracking screen, I'll see that I still have this partially complete inspection, but I have no follow-up items. So it's really important on the inspections that you go ahead and note the items that need correction. I think everybody realizes that it would be a rare occasion that you would do a full job site inspection and not find some kind of issue that you need to make minor adjustments for. So use the follow-up, and that's a really good indicator that we are inspecting the job site, we're noticing these minor issues, we're correcting them as soon as possible, and we're all working towards a safer job site. Now you can add multiple inspections to this. So if you need another inspection, you would just tap on inspection, and now you'll see that the list, if you added a new form, the list of recent forms will grow. Otherwise, we're back to the all forms option, and you're picking from a different inspection form that you haven't used to date. And that's it for meetings and inspections. The requirements have not changed for many, many years. Every foreman is required to do one inspection, one take 5 every day, at least one tailgate meeting per week. Some locations require more than one tailgate meeting per week. And the system is here for you to make this as easy as possible. And once you get through the process of a new meeting, whether it's tailgate or toolbox, safety talk, and doing your inspections, they'll become very easy for you, and you'll be able to perform these without any issues.